Hey, yo!
The boys are back. We're back. Hard pass. What's going on? Got the one and only Rim Breezy, of course, with me. What's going on, man?
Dude, living the dream, back at it, back healthy, feeling alive, survived the past couple weeks.
Yeah, we haven't recorded in about 2 weeks or so, or done anything. For good reason. If y'all are, if you're just piling in here, what's going on? Welcome back. Thanks for checking us back out. But my brother, my compadre, my brethren, Rim Breezy had COVID.
Caught the COVIDs, dude. Got the Rona.
You got the vids, bro, and it took you down pretty good.
It did, man. I felt pretty bad the first couple of days. I felt like I had the flu. Bro, I came home that first day and I sat my ass in the recliner and I did not move the rest of the night. I fell asleep in the recliner in my work clothes, covered up in blankets. I felt so shitty. But yeah, broke that fever. I had all the symptoms other than losing taste and smell, dude. I had every symptom in the book.
So that's exactly what happened to me. I didn't lose my taste or smell, but everything else was COVID.
Yeah.
And dude, when I say it took me literally a month to get better, like from coughing and wheezing and like feeling like just tired and shit. It took me literally, and sometimes I feel like it just like I still haven't recovered from it all the way.
Yeah.
So you said you were coughing a little bit still.
Still got a cough.
You're gonna be coughing for a little bit.
Yeah, that shit sucked, dude. You want to talk about the worst time to catch COVID, bro? So the first night I felt bad. After work I went to CVS to try and get an at-home test. Forget about that. I've never seen CVS so busy, bro. You couldn't even get a parking spot.
No.
So I park. I walk up. First thing I see is a sign that says no at-home COVID test. I was like, well, shit. All right. So I go home. Thank God, like work hits, like text me, say, hey, we just got some at-home COVID test. So I was like, let me go get one. My sister ran and picked it up for me. I took it, test positive. And I'm like, bro, that sucks. So everyone's like, yeah, you go get the real test, like a lab test.
You're like, no.
So I went.
No way.
Yeah, I went and took a lab test. I got sick on Monday, missed work, Tuesday for almost 2 weeks. But I got up that Thursday morning and I went and did to one of those little drive-through places and did a test. Weirdest shit I've ever seen. So this one wasn't like the nasal swab. This one, they gave you a tube and you had to spit in it a bunch of times.
No way.
So, yeah, it was weird, bro. I had to spit in this tube until it had enough saliva in it. So they send the tests off. It took 8 days to get my results back. 8 days. I'm like, bro, I'm already done. Like, it's over. By the time I got my results.
Like, that's what I'm saying. Done. That's just pointless. You just wasted your whole day to spit in the tube and
I got the results back the day I went back to work. I was like, all right, well, I was positive. I mean, 8 days ago, 10 days ago now. Couldn't get a doctor's appointment. You can't get anything. I mean, it was insane. So,
well, I'm glad you beat it.
Yeah,
we back. Got some shit. So today was, we got to start by saying prayers up to my stepdad, Mr. Tracy. He got in a bad car wreck today. He's okay. He's in the hospital right now. They're checking him up and stuff for his back and his shoulder and stuff like that. But it's been a wild day, man. You get a phone call where the person doesn't call you. Like my mom answered the phone and somebody was like, yeah, so are you blah, 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 blah. And then they're like, well, your husband, Tracy, got in a bad car wreck. Like you immediately think your heart and your stomach drops, But so, yeah, he's okay. The kid that pulled out in front of him, he turned and T-boned him. He's okay, which is good news. Just the best news possible. I mean, cars or whatever, that shit you can buy.
Yeah.
Health is just one of those
replaceable.
Things. Yeah, replaceable. So shout out Mr. Tracy. There he is.
There he is. Doesn't miss a beat.
He's in here supporting. Shout out to Mr. Tracy.
All right, Mr. Tracy can jump on here. After being in a damn car
he's literally
accident.
In the ER right now.
He's in the ER. Michael Harris is downstairs, sitting in his room, and he's never once jumped in one of these things. He is just down there. Mr. Tracy's in a damn hospital room, That's an Uber fan. Just
That's
Uber
an
fan status right there.
Immediately Uber fan for Mr. Tracy. But get to feeling better. We'll see you in a little bit, Mr. Tracy. So, we haven't been on here in a while. It's good to see everybody back on. We missed a lot of sports stuff. But
did we?
Where do we even start? So
I know where I want to start. Dynasty fantasy football.
Oh yeah, okay. We start with that.
That's where I want to start.
All right, go ahead, Remy. Glow.
Bro.
This is your lap. Take your victory lap.
Bro, it feels so good to be a champion. I mean, literally, I don't know if I've ever felt happiness before that moment when I beat you. And of course, my reward for beating you was immediately catching COVID. So like, I don't even get a chance to celebrate it. I win.
The thing about it is, I was like, if I win, cool. If Remy wins, cool. Like it was one of those things where it was a tip of the cap. It was more like a fuck you to everybody else in the league.
Well, I mean, especially after last year, me and you finishing last and next to last, and then going from that to playing each other in the championship. I gotta give a big shout out to my boy, my homie from day one, Joe Burrow, in the playoffs, dragging me to 2 playoff victories. My man turned it on for the end of the year.
To be fair, I shouldn't even been there. Let's be real. I probably should not have made the playoffs. There's multiple games this year where the teams just didn't play players. And I would get the free win. And I would score like 92 points and 106 points.
If any of our other Dynasty League members are in here, half the league decided to try and tank all season long. So, I mean, it was an easier path than normal. But, championship.
I did get there, and I put 170 up against Jake. And then I just came up short. And your running backs are a little too much to take. My running backs core is who knows what's going on with Ezekiel Elliott, and Saquon Barkley is a turd. He is a turd wrapped in gold. People think that he's good. He is not.
I'm honestly, I've kind of jumped on that train. I've kind of just jumped on the train of maybe Saquon's just not that good.
Yeah, I think he's definitely.
I don't know if it's the injuries or what, but I mean, he looks like he should be good. I mean, he looks like a Greek god, but he's just not that good.
So we can kind of go back. We'll talk a little bit about. We'll start with the only game that really mattered in the last week of football, and that was the Chargers versus Raiders, because we haven't talked in a while. So we're gonna go back before the playoffs, talk a little bit about that. And that game. In LA, it felt like it was the Super Bowl.
That game was ridiculous.
Shout out to Tyler, by the way. Birthday boy, Ocho. I don't know if he's here or not.
Birthday Ocho.
Birthday Ocho. Shout out to you, man. But he said that he's like, what? Season's over. Chargers versus Raiders are the Super Bowl. But man, it was a wild game. Both teams looked kind of scared.
To win the game?
Yeah. You cannot tell me the NFL is not rigged.
Bro.
I'm telling you,
bro.
The Raiders gave up a 4th and 20-something touchdown where the guy just ran to the touchdown, stopped, and he threw it. Like multiple drives. One drive was like 5 4th and 10s.
I will never understand how in the world in the NFL did we get a 19-play, 2-minute and 6-second drive.
What would happen was Max Crosby would go unblocked for the first 3 plays, and then they would chip him on the 4th down play, and then they would get it.
It was ridiculous. 19 plays, 2 minutes and 6 seconds. This isn't college where they stop the clock every first down. A 19-play drive in the NFL normally would take up 10 minutes, 12 minutes. You have the ball for the entire quarter. They ran 2 minutes and 6 seconds off and were able to tie the game. And then in classic Chargers fashion, they just can't help themselves. So time management. It doesn't matter what coach it is. You put any coach in there. Once you become the Chargers coach, time management out the window.
They call a time. The Raiders like, you know what? I was on the phone talking to you in Discord.
Like 2 hours before.
I was like, this game's getting a tie. This game's getting a tie. The whole time I'm screaming, this game is getting a tie. It was just absurd. The game was wild. If you missed a football game, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it
was just a spectacle to watch. Then they go into then they both kick field goals in extra time. Overtime. By the way, it's 2022. Why are we even having chances of games ending in ties?
I don't. Who in the world or in the NFL is just like, yeah, ties.
We'll just end the tie.
People want ties. I think that's what the people want. Is they want ties.
No.
No one wants this. How are we still here? How are we at? Like you said, it's 2022. How do we still have the biggest sport in the world going? I think we should let games end in ties.
Bro.
Get out of here, bro.
The Steelers got in because of a tie early in the year.
Yeah.
And by the way, that's all. So they were holding on to that. And then now the whole game, they're sitting there. Imagine being a Steelers fan. You're going, we're going to be fucked. This game's, they're just going to tie it.
Yeah.
And the Chargers do the Chargers thing where their coaching staff is just always so, no matter what, the coaching staff holds that team back every year.
New coach staff doesn't matter.
Don't matter. They call timeout. For what reason? I mean, seriously, for what reason are they calling a timeout?
You know a tie takes you to the playoffs.
And the Raiders are like, you know what?
You don't have enough time to get the ball
Raiders
and
are like,
score.
We'll just kick the field goal so we don't have to play the Chiefs.
Win the game. I mean, it's crazy. So, because I get it. I understand like the tie and you're both in. But also, those are division rivals, bro. There's no way that they're just like, yeah, we'll let our division rivals in the playoffs. No. You got to want to win that game.
Yeah,
thank God someone did. I would have been livid
if you were a Dolphins fan. If you were a Dolphins fan, and you want the guaranteed playoffs, which hasn't happened, God knows how long.
What are the playoffs?
You would be cheering. You would be like, dude, I don't give a fuck. Tie the game, do whatever you got to do.
Yes, I would be wanting a tie as a fan, but as a player for the Raiders, there's no way they're sitting there like, yeah, let's just let the Chargers in with us. No way in hell.
You got to think, dude. I mean, they're sitting there thinking, they go, what if we miss a long field goal? What if they return it? What if they block it and return it and we lose? Like, you got to think, they're thinking about all this stuff.
No.
When literally the only thing that matters is going to the playoffs. So they could have just need it. But then they're like, we gave all this money to this kicker. We're just gonna beat these fuckers.
He hasn't missed the kick in the stadium. So
yeah, we're just gonna beat these guys. And I will say, shout out to the Raiders, man. They went through some shit.
Yeah, they did.
You know, literally, John Gruden tried to fight the world. He tried to make the world angry.
How to offend everyone 101.
Their first round Ruggs.
First round Arnett.
I
mean,
Ruggs literally killed somebody, DUI. Arnett's 2 weeks later pointing a gun at a camera saying he's going to shoot up everybody. They had to get rid of both those guys. By the way, Arnett was a baller.
Yeah.
He was a stud.
Pretty sure he's still in the Dolphins practice squad.
He was a stud, but they're going to let him sit there long enough to see what can happen. COD loadout guy. You ain't bro,
that picture of Wes gets me every time. Wes never changed that picture, Wes. How surprised were you when that picture was taken?
Very. I'll go with very for him. But then, we fast forward to wild card weekend.
Well, before that, but what the Raiders winning did was get the Steelers in, like you said, with that tie. So Ben Roethlisberger got his last ride. Of course, it was a very short-lived last ride.
We'll talk about that game later on.
The Steelers finishing Ben Roethlisberger went his whole career without a losing season. So pretty solid. I mean, it was good to see them get in. Of course, we'll talk about what happened. I mean, I wanted to see them get in. And
was it?
At least, I mean, no, they were terrible. I mean,
the Chargers could have beat the Chiefs.
He said it. He said it before the game. Ben Roethlisberger was like, "We don't stand a chance of beating the Chiefs."
I know, and Najee Harris is like, "What?" You saw that?
I mean, clearly they didn't. Ben Roethlisberger is done. I mean, done. And he's done the whole the last game at Heinz Field and everything, and said he's ready to move on to the next chapter. He hasn't said retire yet, so he's kind of. It almost feels like he's leaving that door open.
I'll do it for him.
Yes,
retire.
Everyone else can see that you're done. Please. But I thought it was a good story.
I mean, he is absolutely hilarious to watch. I will say that.
He's an all-time great quarterback, so it was great to just give him one more shining moment in the sun, even if he was terrible. God, he just was so bad.
I mean, he was so bad.
The clips throughout this year of him just falling down.
Come on, dude.
No one even hitting him.
The Panthers, they ended up going 5-12. Not going to fire Matt Rule because we're going to give him another chance. Yay.
So, speaking of who does have an open head coaching position since the last time we spoke on here, Miami firing Brian Flores.
So I guess dude's in a wheelchair. I guess we'll talk a little bit about end of the season stuff before we go into the playoffs. So yeah, Brian Flores got fired from Miami. Remy, you want to kind of talk a little bit about that?
It was a surprise. I will say that when I woke up that next morning, and there was like two coaches that were announced that were fired beforehand, and I'm just breezing through my day, chilling with COVID in my room. And then I get the notification that the Miami Dolphins let Brian Flores go. Wait, what? We won 8 out of the last 9 games. We were arguably the hottest team at the end of the season. And we fired our head coach. Now, ever since the firing, there's been a lot of reports. I mean, just so many new reports about different things that were happening behind the scenes. I don't know what's true. Of course, I wasn't there. But if half of the reports are true, I see why they decided to move on from him. A lot of reports of him burning bridges pretty badly, pretty hard to get along with, to deal with. There was one report that said he stopped talking to all of his assistant coaches around Thanksgiving this year, which is pretty wild.
Bro, they're making this dude look like he's the worst. Come on.
Well, like I said, I don't know.
They don't go from he being the most one of the most guys, players, coach.
I don't think it's necessarily most of the players. There's a ton of reports about him and Tua not getting along and all this, like we should have drafted Mac Jones and all this other stuff that
I'm don't get me wrong. I think that he definitely didn't believe in Tua to the amount, but all that shit I think is just blown out of proportion.
I will tell you this. I do believe that them throwing him under the bus and saying that Flores was the only one that wanted Deshaun Watson, I think that's a load of crap. Mm-hmm. That, I think, is just a bunch of people trying to save face to move forward. Because they immediately were like, yeah, no, the owner, the GM, they didn't really want Watson. They were backing Tua. It was all Flores. I think that's a load of crap. And as soon as those reports came out, Adam Schefter was tweeting like, no, like Stephen Ross, the owner of the Miami Dolphins, 100% wanted Deshaun Watson. And it's like, I believe that. But I will say the silver lining out of all of this with us firing Flores, like I said, I don't know how many of those reports are true. If half of them are true, I get it. Like if he's burned the bridge with the GM, if he's burned the bridge with the quarterback, the owner is not a hands-on owner like that where he gets involved in a lot of that stuff. If he's burnt that bridge with his assistant coaches, then yes, I understand. But also too, let's not forget, as great as we were in the second half going 8-1, we also started 1-7. So there is still some accountability that has to be taken with the 1-7 start. He was still the head coach of a 1-7 football team. Also, and it's wild how I have to deal with the same things like we in college that I do in the pros. Mm-hmm. He just couldn't get the offensive coordinator job right. He in 3 seasons had 4 offensive coordinators, 4 offensive line coaches, and 3 quarterbacks coaches. Just couldn't get it right. Could not get the offensive side of the ball right. Elite defense. I mean, amazing defense, but never could get offense right. So, I mean, someone tweeted, and I was like, Miami didn't just fire Vince Lombardi. They fired a really good up-and-coming coach, and I think he's going to pick up like he's going to be a head coach this upcoming season. So we'll see what he turns into. But let's not act like we just fired the next best coach in the NFL. I don't think that's necessarily the case. Yeah, but it was weird. It was strange to going 8-1 and firing your coach.
I think he's a pretty good coach. I'm not going to lie to you.
I do too.
I think the front office for Miami is a joke and does not do anybody any favors that goes in there to be a head coach. You're behind the 8 ball from the rip with that organization.
Yeah.
So good luck.
There's no doubt. They are very poorly run. But like I said, I think the one thing that I do take from this, the silver lining, and I've been saying this all along, even if you're not telling the truth, even if you're just masking, you have to lie. And the front office and everything, since Brian Flores' firing, has come out and said, Tua is the starting quarterback. Whichever coach we hire, that's who you're going to be building around. And even if that's not true, even if they are still in the background looking at Deshaun Watson, that's what they should have done in the beginning to get through this. But no, they didn't. They kept the flirting going on and everything.
That front office, that coaching staff had some stuff to do with it. But the front office cost y'all the playoffs.
Yep.
Because when y'all were losing, it was the whole time. It was like 6 weeks of y'all trying to trade for Deshaun Watson.
Yeah.
Not really. But like it's just circling around the team, but y'all weren't really out there trying to trade. Y'all were just throwing it out there. But why throw it out there in the middle of a fucking season?
Well, and we talked about this in the Ravens game. This is the stuff. So the front office, yes, not squashing the rumors. And I mean, like I said, even if you don't let it get out in the media the way that it did. But also, too, look at some of the coaching decisions that were made, though. We talked about this during the Ravens game. Why was Tua the backup quarterback in the Ravens game? Oh, his finger's broken. But he's still the backup quarterback. So if he's healthy enough to play.
And he came in to win the game.
How is he not playing? Like, I understand if he can't play, I get that. But if he's healthy enough to play, why is he the backup quarterback to Jacoby Brissett? And so it was just a weird season in that aspect of
and
just
that part's on Flores.
Yes, that's on Brian Flores. But I mean, it's like all year I dealt with this crap, and it's like the indecision from the team, from the front office, the inability to get an offensive line the entire time, and then just the weird choices with how you handle your quarterback. I didn't necessarily love that. I will say, like I said, they've done the way I would have done it all year is how they've treated this offseason.
To be honest with you, the only way you can do it.
Yes. You can't sit there with a young quarterback and be like, we're trading for your replacement. We're trading for your replacement. We're never going to
trading for your replacement. We're going to trade for a guy that has 20-something legal cases against him. That's how bad we think you are.
Yeah. So, but I mean, I'm glad that part of it's over. I'm glad we're past all of that. I just hope beyond anything else.
In classic Miami fashion, y'all win 8. Y'all go 8-1 just to finish with a winning record and barely miss the
one game short of playoffs. Beat Jacksonville, you're in the playoffs. That's all it took.
Lose the Falcons and Jacksonville.
That's all it took. We lost 3 games on last-second field goals. Just can't lose that game. You're in the playoffs. But at the end of the day, like I said, the firing was surprising. My hope is we go forward with an offensive-minded coach. The one I want is the Bills offensive coordinator, Brian Daboll. He used to be the Dolphins offensive coordinator a long time ago. Long time ago. He was our offensive coordinator, but he also coached Tua at Alabama. So I think want Brian Daboll.
I think if anybody can get the best out of Tua, it's him.
Yeah. I don't want a defensive guy. Because if we get a defensive-minded coach, you're not going to get a better defensive-minded coach than Brian Flores.
Exactly.
That would be stupid. So but we'll see what direction they go.
Let's don't get it twisted. Brian Flores was playing with a bunch of linebackers in the 30s and 40s numbers, a bunch of special teamers. I will say there is some talent on that team and out wide, but that's just really one guy. I mean, you have a lot of money locked up in your corner position.
Mm-hmm.
I like your young safety position. I think y'all did a good job addressing that.
Yeah, I mean, the linebacking core needs some work, but I like the pass rush. We led the league in sacks. The corner positions, Byron Jones is overpaid. It is what it is. But Byron Xavier Howard's a star.
Byron Jones is like he's an above average corner.
Yeah,
like he's
nothing special.
He's a solid corner. The problem is he's getting paid top 5 money.
And he never takes the ball away. 0 interceptions again this season.
He's the guy that's always running right behind the guy.
Yep. And if the other guy just makes a better play, then he just gives up.
Big yards. But that's your Dolphins talk. I wish I could have a talk like that about the Panthers, but we're just going to suck again next year. So my football season doesn't start until the year after next because we're going to be bad. Sam Darnold's going to be the quarterback. We might trade Christian McCaffrey. Who knows? I mean, I don't know.
It's tough. It's tough times in Panthers.
The Panthers have 2 Pro Bowl defensive ends,
Mm-hmm.
and we won 5 football games.
And a really good young safety, good corners, good linebackers.
Our defense is stout, and we still
It's
only
the
won 5
quarterback
football
position. It's the quarterback position for the Carolina Panthers. It is the quarterback.
Yeah, remember, but we're not addressing that. So it's going to be
You're
that.
not.
It's going to be that
You're
next
not.
year.
I've said it all year. Is the Panthers should be the team that's all in on Deshaun
Dude, that's how you know.
That's the team that should be all in.
That's how
on
you
him.
know how good Christian McCaffrey is.
You win games when he plays.
People were 3-0. People was like, maybe Sam Darnold's figured shit out. No,
Yeah.
he's terrible.
He
He's
figured out how
so
to
bad.
dump it down to the running back.
I mean, yeah, our O-line issue is a big problem. It's a massive problem. But
I don't.
at the end of the
okay.
day,
So
the decision making is a problem.
Speaking of your Panthers, this is the shit that I cannot stand when I'm watching the NFL. You know as well as I know, as well as hopefully everybody else listening, Sam Darnold is not a starting NFL quarterback. He's not. We've been through this now for 4 years.
Just because he was drafted high, that doesn't mean he's good.
He's just not. I had to sit here last week of the season, week 17, and for some ungodly reason, the Panthers-Buccaneers game ends up on CBS, the AFC channel. Panthers Buccaneers and Tony Romo the entire first half. Sam Darnold can be good. Sam Darnold can be a great quarterback if you get him an offensive line. Stop. Can we stop? It's been 4 years now of him just not being good. Stop. He's not good. But
the problem with him is
he
has the arm talent. He has the size. He has the prototypical arm talent.
There's a ton of people that have that.
It's his mentals, bro. He fucking forces Pauls. He doesn't know. What's going on, Jacob? How you doing, brother? He just, I don't know, man.
Mike J in the building.
Mike J come in. Mike J, Russell Westbrook is shocking to watch play basketball, but sometimes he has some wild shit happen. Like him dunking on Gobert. Him dunking on Gobert was wild.
That dunk was nuts. I mean, I think he shot 4 for 12 in that game, but that dunk was nuts.
Well, that's better than 4 for 22, which probably would be more like his stat line.
But yeah, so I was looking at your Panthers team, and it's tough because quarterback, especially like this draft. I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know about these quarterbacks in this draft. You
see who they have going?
I saw the first mock came out today. Was it Willis, the Liberty quarterback?
Yeah, the Liberty quarterback.
Yeah,
he's going to be the first. Listen, I've watched him play a good little bit actually, dude. If that's the first quarterback, if you're
it's a bad draft class.
He's like a second or third round pick, bro. Like for real. All jokes aside, he's like a second or third round pick.
He's a developmental guy. I mean,
look at Trey Lance. He screams
Dwayne Haskins to me, bro. He can run better, but he just screams Dwayne Haskins in the NFL. But I mean, I don't. It's a bad draft.
Yeah, but
class.
Where did Dwayne Haskins get drafted? People draft bad quarterbacks.
Yes,
Mitchell Trubisky.
I think the mocks have them. I think the mocks have them way too far back. I mean, it's mock 1. I think by the end of this, they're going to be top. He's going to be top 10. I swear to God, they'll be top 10.
By the way, got shit on by Carolina, and they have him going top first round. They have I don't know, man.
What was the Pro Football Focus did what was it, the stars of the bowl games, and they put Sam Howell as one of them?
QB1.
QB1.
Karen Jordan was a better quarterback in the game.
Sam Howell got poopied on by the Gamecocks, and they're like, Sam Howell played a hell of a game. Nope, not really.
Not really.
Got absolutely stinking on by this pretty mediocre football team.
Why would he do that, Caleb? Why would you transfer to Ole Miss
when
He's
you're
about to get
projected to be
paid.
a first-round pick? Yeah, I
The
mean,
number one quarterback?
there's no reason. I mean, I get it. Like, yeah, I mean, he could go to Ole Miss and maybe go from being a top 10 pick to a top 3 pick if he does good. But he's going to be a top 10 pick. He's a quarterback. I know they have him back farther. There's no way. By the time the draft comes around, I think 3 quarterbacks go in the top 15.
Later, Mr. Tracy. Thanks for stopping by. Let me know how everything turns out. Shout out, Mr. Tracy.
Mr. Tracy,
Shout out,
MVP of the night.
MVP of the night.
My man gets in a car accident. He's still on.
Wreck. He's in the hospital right now. He's going to the back. He was in the waiting room at the ER. Now let's go. He said, "Let's go."
Uber fan, bro.
Uber fan, Mr. Tracy. Shout out. But yeah, so wild last week. Wild last week of football. And then I guess we can kind of talk about wild card now. We'll go into wild card. Start with the Raiders and Bengals. Remy, start with this one.
Well, my baby Bengals. I've been a Bengals fan since day one, as long as day one is the day that Joe Burrow was drafted. First playoff win in 31 years. Send the text. Not once has a Bengals fan been able to text about winning a playoff game until now. It's been so long. By the way, Joe Burrow already has the most passing touchdowns in postseason for the Bengals in the last 25 years or 30 years or something like that. He did it with 2. So you got to think all those years that the Bengals were making the playoffs with Andy Dalton, and he threw 1 touchdown pass all those years in the playoffs. That's pretty rough. But Bengals Raiders honestly was probably the game I was most excited about for wild card weekend.
I already kind of gave my props to Raiders. I like the Raiders. I pull for them. I like Derek Carr. I've been a big Carr fan for a long time. I think he's a pretty good quarterback, but he's also just a really cool dude, really nice guy. But they grinded their ass off to get to that point. The blown whistle touchdown. Now, I will say, I don't think the whistle had anything to do with the actual touchdown.
Mm-mm.
What is these refs doing?
Yeah, that's my issue.
What are you doing?
I'm all for getting the call right. Technically, they didn't get the call right.
They didn't get the call right.
And it should have been a replay of the down. But that's such a massive swing for them to let that touchdown stand. So, and at the end of the day, it was a touchdown. Like you said, I don't think the whistle affected the play. Yeah. I think it was a touchdown, but man, and the NFL comes out and says they're not officiating the rest of the playoffs.
It's late. Joe Burrow is rolling out right. He gets close to the sideline, not out of bounds by any means, but he's on the sideline and he throws it back across his body. And while the ball is in midair, you hear a whistle come in, and then he catches a touchdown, and then the safety's like, "Whistle, what?" I mean, he was open. He would have caught a touchdown no matter what. Yeah. But the problem is, by the rule book, when the ball's in the air and the whistle blows, plays dead, and you have to replay it down. They didn't. They said that he caught the touchdown before the whistle, which was wrong by a mile. It was a weird game. It sucks that had to happen in that game because I thought it was a pretty grindy.
Outside of that, it was a good game. I mean, it was a really good game. But I mean, you touched on it earlier. For the Raiders to even get to that point is unbelievable. For them to even be in the playoffs with all the shit they dealt with all year is pretty remarkable. But at the end of the day, they lose the game and have now fired their general manager and are probably getting a new head coach here in the next couple of days.
I think they should probably hire the guy that righted the ship.
And it's looking more and more like that's not going to happen because with the GM being gone, with them they're going to bring in a new GM. He's going to want to hire his guy.
Hire a new guy. Yeah.
Yep. And so that guy who took over after Gruden did all that work to get this team to the playoffs, sent packing. There's the door. So, but like I said, pretty well. But I am all in on the Bengals. I am beyond blown away that this team made it this far this quickly. Yeah, we talked about it at the beginning, bro. I think we both had them winning 3 or 4 games. And,
we knew how good the offense was going to be.
Yeah.
We didn't know if, sophomore slump with Joe Burrow, and we didn't know about that defense. we knew the start. There was a few guys on the team, like getting that guy from the Saints. He's a good player. Henderson.
Yeah, he's a great
baller.
player.
He's a baller. Yeah, but I was surprised about it was a shout out to their coaching staff. To be honest with you, that coaching staff has a bunch of young boys on that team, and they're teaching them how to win. And not only win, they won in the playoffs, which is something they haven't done in 31 years. So
I will tell you this: the way that Joe Burrow has handled himself through all this stuff, that's a franchise guy. I mean, I saw a quote from him today. He was like, I'm glad everyone's excited that we won the playoff game, but he's like, this should be the standard moving forward. It shouldn't be that, everyone's excited we won a playoff game. That's the bare minimum moving forward, is winning a playoff game. And
he oozes
swag. That confidence.
I don't know, just like, but like not like it's like talk your shit, Joe, but like not he backs it up. I mean, the dude balls out of his mind. You just watch him float around in the pocket. He doesn't have a major arm, like he doesn't rip it like some of the other guys. But dude, he just floats in the pocket. Every pass is just on the money. I don't know. It's one of those things where, people were questioning him coming out of college. Like, it was a one year wonder. Could he replicate that? I'm like, dude, that was one of the best years I've ever seen in my life in any college football season ever.
And he just did things that you didn't see in college. Like you said, that pocket management, that pocket manipulation that you saw from him in college is adapted into the NFL. And he's not like an athlete. He's not going to run around all over the place on you. But his ability to step in through the pocket, avoid the rush, extend the play, not necessarily run for a whole bunch of yards, but just keep plays extended and keeping his eyes downfield the whole time. That's where the touchdown came from on the blown whistle play. That's where he makes a lot of his big plays. And also just his ability he does that Aaron Rodgers thing where if he draws somebody off sides, he's just throwing it to Jamar Chase deep 100% of the time.
I was talking, and I think maybe I was talking to you, but it was like one of those things where think about some of the greatest NFL quarterbacks of all time. The Joe Montanas, the Tom Brady's, the Peyton Mannings, the Drew Breeses. These guys did not have giant arms.
No.
They were not athletically gifted. They saw the game like it was people were walking. And that's how Joe Burrow sees it. He throws some touchdowns, you're like, how did he even know that guy was going to be open? And that's what separates. Now, for him to take that next step, he needs to understand the game kind of like these other guys do. Tom Brady's still making a stupid living. He threw for 5,000 yards and like 40 touchdowns or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And all he does is he can analyze who's going to be open before the snap, and he picks it, dips and dots. He's accurate. Accuracy is the number one thing. It's the problem, I review some of these other guys' tapes, and you look at them and you watch them play. They're good at quarterback. They can absolutely spin the damn thing from any kind of angle. They can throw it through a freaking tire room. The problem is these quarterbacks like Jay Cutler. Let's listen to Jay Cutler.
Massive arm talent. Fucking cool, whatever. Great. He's a solid quarterback. The problem is he never took time to understand the game. So when somebody was open, that's when he would start to throw it. Like, oh, this guy's coming open. This guy's open now. I'm going to throw it. In the NFL, it don't work like that. You have to be like, this safety's here. Okay, this route's going to run this route. So he's going to be open. I should already throw it. And now, you know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Now he throws people open and stuff.
You got to be a step ahead of the game is what you got to do.
Birthday boy's in the house.
Birthday boy. Big Ocho.
Big Ocho. Happy birthday, brother.
Happy birthday, bud.
Wow. Travaris Robinson being hired to Alabama to be defensive back coach. Hey, Brave. If he'll be all right. They have like a bunch of 5 stars. They'll figure it out. Shout out Tyler. Happy birthday, boy. Thanks for stopping in. But that was the first game. Big win. Big win for the Bengals. The Bengals.
Bayou Bengals, baby.
So they have, who do they have next?
I got the schedule right here. Tennessee.
They have Tennessee. They could win that game.
They can. Tennessee's
bringing back their monster.
Tennessee, So ESPN had an article up today that said, is Tennessee the worst number 1 seed since 1983? And I mean, maybe, because this is a very winnable game. This is a very winnable game for the Bengals, but Mike Vrabel is coach of the year. And I say that because Derrick Henry went out week 8.
And
Clearly,
they had COVID for the first 5-6 weeks.
Clearly, Derrick Henry means a lot to that team. And for him to go over half the season without their bell cow and end up with the 1 seed, you know, they're a 12-5 1 seed, but still unreal.
I think a lot of people don't appreciate how good Derrick Henry is. Like, even me, I sat down yesterday. I was like last week when they started talking about it. I went and looked at his highlights, and he's a walking 6 yards, Remy.
Oh yeah,
he falls forward for 6 yards.
I mean, he averaged here. Because this is just insane to me. He didn't play since week 8, and he finished 9th in the league in rushing yards. He still had a top 10 season in rushing yards. He didn't play the last over half the season. He averaged, let's see, Derrick Henry, 4.3 yards per carry. He had 10 rushing touchdowns already. He averaged 117 yards per game. As great as Jonathan Taylor's season was, he averaged 106 yards a game.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Derrick Henry was on pace to breaking some records.
People don't like tackling Derrick Henry.
Well, I mean, would you?
No.
I mean, once maybe I fall and
like you just throw your body in and you're out,
and he just trips over my corpse or something. But imagine like every play is like, shit, they're gonna give him the ball again.
again.
Imagine being a safety and you're like, son of a.
People don't understand. Like,
he outweighs me by 60 pounds.
When you're a defensive tackle and you weigh 320 pounds. And you got to hold off the offensive line and plug a hole, and he is running right at your forehead. Mm-hmm. He has head of steam, and you don't have any head of steam. That is a beat.
You just grab and hope.
You just hope. I mean, you literally just ripping your arm off.
Rip your shoulder out and hope he falls down.
But that's going to be a good game. I look forward to this. I look forward to these games.
He practiced today with contact, so it is looking good. They haven't made any official announcement. I'm hearing that the official announcement will be Friday. They play on Saturday, but I feel like they're just like they're like trying to hide it the best they can and hope Cincinnati doesn't prepare for it.
For Tennessee, and it said winter is coming, and it was like Derrick Henry, and then it was like winter is here, and it showed him like practicing.
I mean, that's the thing with Tennessee is they could win the damn Super Bowl. Who knows? They could lose to the Bengals this week. I don't know. We'll see. I'm excited. I'm just excited because if Derrick Henry plays, then I'm all in.
Yeah. I mean, we were all in on them early. We were talking about how great that team.
Fucking Jets.
Yeah. You lose the Jets, we're out of there no matter what. But I'm rooting. I don't know. I'm rooting for the Bengals in this one, though. I'm going to be straight up. You got to root for the Bengals in this game. But it's one of those things where I like Derrick Henry too. And you got Tannehill, who's a good quarterback, and he's kind of found his way. So surprising, you surrounded with talent.
Good things happen.
Quarterback.
Weird.
But go down to the next game, and this game, it wasn't even a game.
Wasn't an NFL
No one
game.
Circles the wagons like the Buffalo Bills, baby. Buffalo beat the Patriots 47-17. It could have been worse. The Patriots scored. I mean, the Bills scored on their first 7 possessions.
The Bills did not kick a field goal. They did not punt, and they did not have a turnover. The only possessions they did not score touchdowns were the ends of the halves. They scored touchdowns on every drive, single drive.
This is a stat of Josh Allen: 21 of 25, 308 passing yards. He also had 66 rushing yards, and he threw 5 touchdowns in 5-degree weather, which felt like it was -17 with the wind chill.
I agree. He sucks.
Only Buffalo can throw 5 touchdowns in -17-degree weather.
God, I didn't even want to watch that game. I didn't want to watch it. I hate both of those teams so much. I did
now the
not want
hot-
to watch that game.
Now the hot takes are Bill Belichick ready to move on from Mac Jones.
Oh, yeah. You want to talk about hot takes? You want to talk about hot takes? This is why we do this. Colin Cowherd, I'm calling him out. Patriots got to trade Mac Jones.
Patriots got to get rid of Mac Jones.
They got to trade Mac Jones. They just got outclassed. Quarterback position, massive disadvantage. You got to trade Mac Jones. Mac Jones, by far the best rookie quarterback this year. Not even close.
Not even close.
Led that team to the playoffs. That team's still not a very good team. I'm sorry. I get it. It's Bill Belichick. It's the Patriots. It's hard to say they're not a very good team. They're not a very good team. Their number one wide receiver is Kendrick Bourne. He couldn't even make the 49ers roster.
He couldn't even make the team.
I'm like, it's still a work in progress with that roster. Mac Jones is a good quarterback. He is bro. You ain't kidding, Tyler. So first, that's the first take is they got to trade Mac Jones. Remind me how good Josh Allen was as a rookie.
He was bad.
He was awful. He was terrible as a rookie.
Yeah, they were terrible.
People got to chill out with this hot take shit. Mac Jones will be fine. The Patriots will be fine.
Think about how long it used to take for quarterbacks to come on.
Yes.
Think about how bad Peyton Manning was.
And
look how bad. Let's say for the Jacksonville.
Bro, that's what I'm saying. Like, what is this hot take world that we live in where, like, Mac Jones plays as good as he did, takes the Patriots to the Super Bowl? We have national television people saying the Patriots should trade him, but yet that same national television says the Jaguars and the Bears are the two most attractive head coaching jobs because Trevor Lawrence and Justin Fields. Trevor Lawrence, who led the league in interceptions and only threw 10 touchdown passes, and Justin Fields, who looked lost for most of the year. How are those the attractive jobs? And the Patriots have to trade their quarterback that took them to the playoffs. What world do we live in? What is
10
this?
games for the rookie quarterback.
So I didn't send this one to you. So I sent you that thing today, the text message. We'll talk about in a little bit, Stephen A, about Giannis and Ja Morant.
Yeah.
Just when I thought that was the worst take that I could have today, I scrolled down not even 5 posts and I get another Colin Cowherd post of him saying that maybe we got to start thinking about Andy Reid being the greatest coach of all time and not Bill Belichick.
Stop.
Andy Reid, bro. Andy Reid has 1 Super Bowl. Bill Belichick has 6. There are levels to this shit, my guy. 6-1, and I have a guy with a Fox television show telling me that Andy Reid is going to be the greatest coach of all time ahead of the guy that's got 6 Super Bowls. My entire adult life, I feel like it's only been Bill Belichick winning Super Bowls.
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Or playing in them, or almost playing in them.
Bro.
Like, come on.
Get out of here with that shit,
But the problem, Remy, is no one holds these people accountable for these
the dumb shit that they
say.
Oh, bro, I was losing it.
You know what? You say some dumb shit like that. If I owned that sports show, I would get a phone call. I would get somebody to call me mid whatever I'm doing, probably playing golf or whatever, because I have a lot of money.
Yeah, at that point.
And they would tell me what he just said, and I said, pull the plug.
Pull the plug. New show.
Right then and there, you're done.
Call up the Hard Pass crew. Get them on TV.
Get them on TV. Dude, that is absurd.
Bro.
That's almost as bad as the alien pointed at Earth.
I want Iguodala.
I want Iguodala. That's such a fucking troll, dude. That's some troll shit. That's some fucking troll shit. But shout out Bills. It was a bludgeoning, like they said on Twitter. The Patriots are not as good as the Bills. They're not as good as a team. That's okay.
Yes.
That's okay.
I don't. That's the world that we live in, where it's like that's unacceptable. It's okay. They're still building a franchise. They literally lost the greatest player of all time. They're working their way back. They'll be okay. They made the playoffs 2 years after losing Tom Brady.
My Super Bowl pick, Camille, was the Bills versus the Rams. And I said the Bills will win it all because, of course, I like the Bills. Turns out I like half the AFC.
Yeah.
I do. I like a lot of the AFC teams. But yeah, so who was yours again, Remy?
I had Titans. I had Titans, Buccaneers.
Titans, Bucks. Okay. Yeah, that's still a good one. I mean, both our picks are still in it. So That's it. Bills are gonna win. And that
Oh,
right there
Homer.
is supportive. Look at this. That's a pretty couple right there. Look at that.
Bro.
Shout out in the building. So we go down to Eagles, Bucks. Shout out T Brown, coaches the Eagles. They suck. Buccaneers. Nothing really talk. This game was a snoozer.
Yeah, it was
It
bad.
was what it was. It was a pretty bad game. Bucks won 31-15 and pretty much cruise control.
But I mean, that's it's the same thing to me. The Eagles aren't as good as the Buccaneers, and like that's okay.
Well, that's okay.
They're a young team. They're building. The Buccaneers are old as dirt. So eventually that shit'll turn around. But I mean, they were just outclassed.
Bro,
It was
it's
just,
literally the problem that Remy is we could sit here and look at the rosters. We can look at these players and be like, okay, well, the Buccaneers are clearly way better. than the
better.
Eagles. Way
they
better.
also have Tom
But
Brady.
the problem is, they go, there's fans out there go, why didn't we win the Super Bowl? Why didn't we win the Super Bowl? We didn't make changes.
Yeah, fire everyone.
Fire everybody. We didn't make the Super Bowl. We didn't win. So you know how hard it is to make the Super Bowl?
If you're not Tom Brady, it's very difficult.
Or I'm telling you, it is literally some of the greatest football players to ever. Aaron Rodgers is known wildly as one of the best quarterbacks ever. He's played in it one time.
Once.
People take it for granted because they see Tom Brady there every year almost.
Aaron Rodgers is about to win his 4th MVP. He will have been to the Super Bowl one time.
One time. It is insanely hard to do. It is tough. And I mean, that's how great Tom Brady is. He is the GOAT. But moving on, we talk 49ers Cowboys. How about them boys? Turns out they swept their division because their division's terrible. And if you look at it on paper, they have way more talent than these teams.
Well, yes.
But they're poorly coached. They remind me a lot of the Raiders. A lot of penalties. They don't know. They have all this talent on offense, but they don't have an identity. You remember a couple years ago when they ran the ball
Yep.
so much?
Yep.
What happened to that?
They moved on. Well, Dak played well enough that they were just like, we're a passing, but they're not a passing team. The lack of identity from that team. So they were talking about it on. I mean, yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
but
has got a video though.
They talked about it on ESPN. They didn't have an identity. Are you a big play offense or are you a smash and run the ball offense? And they were neither. But they have a Hall of Fame left tackle, a Hall of Fame right guard, one of the best right tackles in the league, 2 amazing wide receivers, 2 good running backs, a good quarterback, 2 good tight ends. How do you not have an offensive identity? Like,
and on the
I
flip
just don't
side,
understand.
On the flip side, you look at the 49ers.
They have an identity.
And
it's number 19, Deebo Samuel.
And Mitchell. Mitchell's a good running back, too.
Yeah. No,
they
I
found
know
him in the 6th round.
I know.
They have a really good offensive line. They have a really good defensive line. They're going to dominate those 2 positions, and they're going to figure the rest out. But you know how – I mean, Jimmy Garoppolo is the most bomb-average quarterback you're going to see in the league. He literally will get. He will literally be the reason why they won't win, but they win.
Yeah,
because you run the ball. Teams don't understand. It's kind of like I like the Bills. They don't run the ball at all. They throw the ball so many. Like it'll be snowing. They can't even walk. Can't even see. It'll be raining. They throw the ball 50 times. Like, run the ball.
The 49ers won that playoff game with Jimmy Garoppolo going 16 of 25 for 172 yards and a pick. I mean, they know what they're doing. They ran the ball 38 times. They had 2 rushing touchdowns. I mean, they play great defense. They run the ball, and they just get – if you can live in 3rd and 3s versus 3rd and 9s, you're going to have success in the NFL. Jimmy Garoppolo can complete a 3-yard pass and get a first down if that's what it takes. But, I
don't think it's just – dude, when you have 2nd and 5, the chances of you getting that first down is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And teams don't do that anymore. I don't know, man. It's crazy because the 49ers, we talk about it, and it's almost like we talked about them all year long about how they were struggling. But, dude, if they make it in, they play playoff football.
Mm-hmm.
Where dude, you play some good defense, you run the ball, you get some chains moving, you hold on to the ball. You know how you keep the other team from scoring? You hold on to the football.
Mm-hmm.
That's what frustrates me the most with Miami. It's how bad y'all's running game is. You might as well not even have it.
I mean, worst running offense in the NFL, worst pass blocking offensive line in the NFL. Get rid of the quarterback.
Get rid of the quarterback. Those things make sense. Go to another game that was ugly. Steelers were up 7-0 in this football game. Steelers, Chiefs. Chiefs won.
Defensive touchdown.
Chiefs won 42-21. Not really too much to talk about here.
Last ride for Big Ben. It was real. 18 years. Enjoy retirement, bud.
Jeez, Embiid's balling out right now. It says.
Yeah, he is. Jesus Christ.
But yeah. So shout out Big Ben. Hell of a football player. I mean,
yeah. I mean, Hall of Fame career. Off the field stuff is what it is. On the field, one of the best to ever play. Enjoy retirement.
Just don't get caught in the bathroom with him, and you're fine.
Yeah. Also, I just don't want to see him falling down over his own 2 feet anymore. So I hope he doesn't.
He has somebody tie his shoes for him,
bro.
And that's facts. Like, it was bad. I mean, I would tune in to watch him play because how bad.
It was comical. Yes.
Chiefs turned around though. Chiefs really got it going on.
Chiefs are on fire.
What do you think about Travis Kelce not being first team All-Pro?
I mean,
Andrews made it over.
First team All-Pro is so hard. Andrews was insane this year. If I had the vote, I would have given to Andrews over Kelce this season. Kelce is the better player, but Andrews this year was just nuts. I mean, he almost broke the Ravens record for single season catches. He might have. I mean, it was nuts.
Yeah,
he was insane this year. And
he's
also, he had Lamar Jackson. We all know what he is throwing the ball, and Tyler Huntley throwing him the ball. So
Travis Kelce had 92 catches, 1,100 yards, and 9 touchdowns. It's pretty good. I gotta look at Andrew's stats, but I agree. We'll see. Yeah, shout out Chiefs. They have a pretty cool game coming up. They play
Buffalo.
my Bills, and I think the Bills can win it.
Do you? Because you're wrong. Because you're wrong. Chiefs, baby.
For me. So 49ers Packers at the Packers. 49ers travel. That team travels, by the way.
Aaron Rodgers is 0-3 in his playoff career against the 49ers. They are his kryptonite.
Because of that, that team has a really good defensive front. And they run the ball, man. That shit. We'll see. I think the Packers end up winning, but it's going to be a tight one. And, of course, we talked about Bills Chiefs. We're kind of get our picks before we get out of here. I got to have to cook dinner here in a minute, so we can't run too long. But we will talk a little bit about the last game of the wild card round. By the way, I like this many teams. I think this is a good amount of teams.
I mean, playoff football, I'm all for. I mean, I get it. We talked about clearly the Eagles weren't going to beat the Bucs. I did not see the Steelers beating the Chiefs. Those were games that were whatever. Them. Yeah, but I mean, they're still good football teams playing against each other. It's not like we have the Lions playing the Browns. It's like we have good football. So
game,
bad games, but
Cardinals went on a slide the end of the year, and it just kind of kept going. They've been out of rhythm for a while. And Cardinals, so it's Cardinals versus the Rams in the last one. The Rams ended up winning 34-11. It was ugly. Matt Stafford only threw 17 passes because that's the only thing he had to do. He still threw 2 touchdowns.
I think I saw that was the fewest pass attempts he's ever had in a win in his career. 17.
Shout out Cooper Kupp. Cooper Kupp had 145 catches for 1,947 yards and 16 touchdowns.
The Triple Crown. Receiving Triple Crown. Matt Stafford responsible for 2 of the greatest receiving seasons in history.
Matt Stafford's a stats guy, bro.
He really is
a stats guy.
I mean, he's the quickest to all of the 10,000, 20,000, he's the quickest one in history to each one of those records. I said, he gave
Matt Stafford's he's a good quarterback.
Yeah, I think he's good. He has games where it's what happened, but I mean, at the end of the day, that arm talent thing that you were talking about, you want to talk about a guy that for his entire career can throw it 50, 60 and not break a sweat. I mean, that's Matt Stafford. That's always been Matt Stafford. But good for him to get that win, dude. Get that monkey off his back. We screamed it. We spoke it into existence all last year. Get Matt Stafford off the Lions.
I'm telling you, he needs to send us a check. That motherfucker needs to send us a check, bro. I'm telling you.
All year, last season, get him off the Lions.
And it came to fruition.
And he goes to the Rams and he wins his first playoff game. Massive win for him. Cardinals imploded to the end of the year. It really shows how much DeAndre Hopkins means to that team. DeAndre Hopkins means everything to the Cardinals. They went from being unbeatable to just lost once they lost.
Yeah, they had some injuries, but the problem was, man, they're just mentally weak. And we'll see. It's a team that we thought that they could have had a chance, but I always said all year, I said the Cardinals can beat anybody and they can lose anybody.
They can lose to anyone.
But
look at Westwood's comment.
I see it. It is the anniversary of Manti Te'o's girlfriend. Never forget.
Never forget.
Not real, in case you forgot.
What are you talking about? I'm dating her right now.
No, yeah, it's old Palmelina for old Breezy. Matthew Stafford. Yeah, shout out. So they played the Bucks. That's going to be a football game. Rams at the Bucks.
We just got 4 good football games this weekend. 4 good football games.
You're right.
Bengals, Titans, 49ers, Packers, Rams, Bucks, Bills, Chiefs. These are the best teams in the NFL.
According to the AccuWeather here, it looks like the Bengals Titans is going to be 36 degrees at kick. 49ers Packers is going to be 12 degrees at kick here. Rams Bucks 6 sunny and 60 in Tampa. And then the Bills Chiefs going to be 43 degrees. So
damn, we get no dome games.
No dome games.
No dome games.
You think teams to start playing domes really help you out this time of year? But here we are. So we're gonna go through the picks. Bengals, Titans. Who you got?
Titans. I'm rooting for the Bengals. I'm picking the Titans.
I'm picking the Titans in that one as well. 49ers, Packers. Who you got?
49ers.
I'm gonna go. My heart's telling me 49ers. Deebo Samuel. Shout out to him. Absolute monster. Turns out he's just unbelievable, and it really makes sense how we won some football games. You go back and think about it. South Carolina.
Yeah, I mean, we had a first-team All-Pro wide receiver, so
yeah.
But
so we won 6 football games.
So. Aaron Rodgers in the playoffs against the 49ers. His kryptonite.
I think he gets the monkey off his back.
He better. He fucking better. So because all last offseason we heard all about it. All offseason was Aaron Rodgers isn't happy. Aaron Rodgers wants to leave. All this stuff.
You got to win this game.
They don't draft him playmakers. They're the exact same team they were last year. Everyone stopped talking about it because they won all these football games. They got the 1 seed. They had the 1 seed last year. They won 13 games last year.
They better win this football game.
They lost in the playoffs. This is when it matters for Aaron Rodgers.
By the way,
what happens if he loses again?
Shout out Snoop Dogg. I'm drinking his wine in a red Solo cup. It's been one of them days. You got to take the edge off.
Classy boy.
On camera.
But if Aaron Rodgers loses this game, then all that shit circles back around that we dealt with last offseason. And I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear that he doesn't have weapons because they don't draft players in the first round. He's got arguably the best wide receiver in football in Devontae Adams. He's got 2 running backs that had 1,000 yards from scrimmage this year. I don't want to hear that he doesn't have weapons. He does have weapons. They're just not first-round picks.
So all that said, I'm taking the Packers. I think he gets some monkey off his back. Chickens for Kansas City game. Yeah, we'll see.
I don't want to go to Green Bay. Are you kidding me? Green Bay in January? No.
Rams, Bucks. Who you got?
That's a tough one. Who
you got?
That's the game of the week.
I
can't bet against Tom Brady. Buccaneers win. I just can't.
Tom Brady loses at home, but it's not because of him. I just think overall, and you stack these two teams up against each other, I think the Rams have a better roster. I think their defense is better, which is kind of where the tipping point is. And also, the wide receiving core has taken some hits for the Bucs. And I'm going to go with the Rams on the road. It's tough. Matt Stafford on the road, that's really against Tom Brady.
The Rams
gonna
are
be tough.
potentially starting Eric Weddle at safety. He retired 2 years ago.
Yeah, that's not great. That's not great. But Tom Brady doesn't throw the ball down the field. So, to be fair and watch the play where he actually pushes the ball down the field a good amount.
Yeah.
Which is surprising for a guy. He's on something. We need to test that dude.
Oh, yeah.
Because, 40,
it's the blood of the innocent. He's clearly sold his soul a long time ago.
A long time ago to be the greatest quarterback of all time. Hey, good for him. And then in the game, Sunday, Bills at the Chiefs, Remy. I know you're going to pick the Chiefs because you hate Buffalo,
the Chiefs,
but you're
baby.
just wrong.
I'm Patty Mahomes till I
die.
So
the line on this one's only 1.5.
Because it's going to be a close game. But I don't know. This is weird because these are two teams. I think both of us agree that they underperformed from what we expected from both of these teams in the regular season.
They played against each other in the regular season.
I think both me and you have fully expected these two teams to be 13, 14 win teams.
Yeah.
They both hit rough patches earlier in the season, but they both have turned it on like big time here to end the year. So I think you got two of the hottest teams in the league going against each other, but I'm not picking the Bills. I hate the Bills. I'm not picking them. The Chiefs are winning the game.
Bills.
It's not even going to be close. Chiefs by 30. Get Buffalo out of here.
Bills. It's happening.
No.
Bills are going to win the Super Bowl, Remy. How are you ready for that?
It's not happening.
What if the Bills win the Super Bowl for real?
No.
What is?
No.
Remy, come on now. What
Just
are we
no.
saying?
Just
What are we
no.
saying?
Just no. I can't.
Hey, I can't do it.
The Patriots got 6. I can't let the Bills get 1, and we can't win a damn playoff game. We want a playoff game. We're now the second longest streak in the NFL.
I haven't made the playoffs.
We made it in 1 year with Adam Gase.
Did you?
We haven't. Second year with Adam Gase. We made Adam Gase won a playoff game, or didn't win. Made it to a playoff game.
By the way, another shout out. Shout out Adam Gase. He's the offense coordinator for a high school team. They went 5-6 or something like that.
Yeah, losing record
on the year.
6th in their division. Shout out Adam Gase, coach of the year.
He traded away all the talent.
He somehow traded away high school talent. I don't know how that works. But the Dolphins have the second longest streak in the NFL for not winning a playoff game behind the Lions. So, bang, bang. No, Bills are out of here. Chiefs are advancing.
Okay, so before we get out of here, we got a lot to talk about. The NBA is getting wild. I know we have a lot of NBA guys in here. We do plan on talking about the NBA. We're going to probably have to do that off camera, and we're going to break it down and maybe try to put it up on Spotify and stuff like that. Still in the process of figuring out our next moves with other than this. Like this right here is something that we're going to try to do. We had COVID and shit like that happen. If one day Rim Breezy decides to move to Phoenix, Arizona, and we could do some live stuff during the week, that would be dope. But so we'll see about all that. But we do want to try to do some videos, some 10-minute clips that we could put up on YouTube and stuff like that, so we could share to different social media, start doing TikToks and stuff like that. Because TikToks for this kind of stuff is how a lot of stuff gets blown up.
I'm gonna do my dancey dance.
It's just like, have like random 59-second clips, hard, like going crazy about discussing stuff like that. So we do look forward to doing all that kind of stuff. We are sorry that our schedule is hella sporadic. And
COVID got me, bro. I was all in, dude. Literally, like New Year's resolution, try and get the YouTube channel up and running better. Literally, third day of the year, COVID.
Soft, SAWFT.
I mean, yeah, just only pandemic, whatever.
Yeah, he's soft, ladies and gentlemen. Don't worry about Rim Breezy. He'll be all right. But I appreciate each and every one of you guys for stopping in here. Shout out once again, Mr. Tracy. I hope you're feeling better.
Uber fan,
Uber fan,
MVP of the night, Mr. Tracy.
Shout
Car
out,
accident, emergency room, still in here.
still in here, still hanging out. Shout out Tyler. Of course, it's his birthday, the Ocho. But you shout out each and every one of you guys. You know, we don't pop on here for weeks, and then y'all are back in here. So we appreciate your support. We appreciate hanging out with you guys and all that. Remy, you got anything to tell everybody before we get out of here?
Missed it, loved it, glad to be back. Really hoping to hit it hard this year, get it back up and running. I'm a big fan of the ideas of like maybe even just little, like you said, little clips throw up on YouTube for the breaking news for each day. Just little things like that I think will be cool. Shout out Russell Westbrook for Michael for his dunk on Rudy Gobert that literally paused the league for a few minutes. He's still been trash.
First off, I want before you get out of here, that was not a technical foul.
Well,
What did he do that was a technical foul?
I mean,
He dunked on him. He hurt his feelings.
yeah. I mean,
Rudy
that's
Gobert's overrated as fuck. By the way,
that's the NBA today, dude. It's
Rudy Gobert's overrated. That's how I'm gonna end this. That's it for me and Rim Breezy and the Hard Pass crew. We will holler at y'all next time. Y'all have a good rest of y'all's week.